Welcome to our turn video, and the first thing I'm going to do is move our coordinate system to the front face. So we're going to use the move command, snap to circle center, pick the circle on the face, and then tell it to go to Z0. Now we're in alignment. Next thing I want to do is create a curve. A curve is just a boundary for the tool to follow. Curve represents that there's multiple links. Unless it's a drill, you just need a drill point. So we're going to go to curve from silhouette boundary. And let's hide our surfaces in geometry. So there's the profile. We work with the upper half. So we're going to rough turn to start with. Now I could use a facing operation. I'll show you how to change the order as we get into it. So our curve chain, we want to start here and we're ending over here. Notice the arrow. That tells us the direction of the curve. That plays a role when you decide on whether the tool's on the right side or whether the tool's on the left side for a bore. Now I want to extend this out, so I'm just going to change to a linear move, snap to all, and I'm going to go in my Z coordinate and go and add a negative 0.35. Go to the turn tab. You have rough material is the heavy yellow region. So we're going to start with a rough turn. You can pick a tool from the library. You can set these values for the tool. And when you set those values, these fields will update, found under the tool info. You can change these values on the fly. Notice my graphics updated. As I select the field, it'll update the graphics. That's great if you haven't used the product or haven't used the field in a while, and you may be a new user and you want to find out more about that particular dialog. Under cycle data, we're leaving 100 thousandths finish allowance. We're using units per rev and constant surface feed. Now, if I want a rough pass over the OD, I can either extend the curve straight up so that it knows the boundary, the stock boundary, or I can go back in the operation, tell it that the diameter is 2 1/8. Now if I want to see the tool, how it's cutting step by step, we can certainly do that. And you just hit the enter key for each step, or you hold the enter down and it zips right through. There is a 3D preview, so you get a rendering. Now I have a 3/4 slice. That's so I can see any bore work. You could have it as a solid bar if you wanted to. Stock setup, turn the 3/4 view off. Let's go back. We're working with a bore. Now our part length is 2 1/4. We're going to cut off, so I need to maybe extend the stock a little bit, so you can create your own custom stock rather than the stock that CAD-CAM automates. So our length will go with 2.3. Here I'm going to just hide the stock curve, hide there. Now we'll do a finish profile on the OD. Taking our stock allowance off. I'll use the same tool. Now we'll create a facing operation. Our stock diameter is 2 inches. It'll be a linear move. We're going to start at x 2 inches, z0. X 1 inch. It's a radius. Come down to x0. Face profile. Now it's coming on 90 degrees. Let's go and start above the OD and come down. So our engage angle, you can see this represents the curve. I want the tool to start at 0 degrees by my clearance. Now let's say I wanted to make a couple passes. We have some rough material on the front face. You can do it two ways. We could have created a face operation, told it the extra stock on the right boundary, or we can go into the face operation. We can say there's 100 thousandths of material, and we'll take it in 50,000 steps. So I should get a couple passes there. Change the order. You click on the face operation in the list box and use your arrow key. Now we're going to drill. So we're going to find out we can go in with a 3/8 tool. So we need to create our boundary curve, our curve. So we're going to make a rapid move right to center. That's all you need to add. If you had live tooling, you could use another location. You can snap a rapid move anywhere that's possible. Drill. Our depth that we're drilling to would be 2 1/4. So let's go a little bit further. Let's go 2 1/2. Pick a drill. Take that step out. We don't want to peck. We're just going to feed right through. Now we're going to finish this section in here. And I'm just going to use the calculator. We're going to go in another negative 0.125. That's going to be a profile. We're profiling a bore. Tool is on the left side. That's correct. You could add your total stock if you want to work your way in, or we'll just do a finished pass. We'll leave the depth. That's representing the insert. Change to a boring tool. Now notice, I'm just leaving some of the default values. I'm not changing like the offset number. Be tool 3, offset 3. And if you want to post G-code, so we post the front part of the program. I'm going to choose a FANUC post processor. You could tell it the location to post the code to. You could post it to a thumb drive or floppy drive. There's all of our G-code. If you would like, you can go into the rough turn and you can change that to a canned cycle. Oh yeah, verify all gives me a total machine time for the operations, taking constant surface feed into consideration as well. And let's open that G-code program up. And you can see we get the G71 can cycle. Okay, now we'll do a cutoff operation. Rapid diameter, we'll go with 2 1/4. Cutoff position is actually negative 2 1/4 as well. Our clearance, our part diameter is 2 inches. Cutoff diameter, we used a 3/8 drill, so let's go with 300. So we're not cutting off and feeding it through air. And if you want to step, you can have it pecked through. If you want to add a chamfer to the backside, add a radius, you can do that. So we hit continue. And we're going to change that to a groove. Make sure your groove can go deep enough. It could be infinite if you know you're not going to violate the part. We do have crash detection. Okay, now we're ready to flip the part around. So that would be a subspindle coordinate system that we're going to use. You could use a subspindle or just a manual change, either way. So we're going to go with make our subspindle the active coordinate system. We want to move this coordinate system 2 1/4 to get it on the back side of the part. So we'll go edit and translate. And we're going to go 2 1/4. And then make sure you're picking your subspindle. Top view. Now I'm going to hide these curves that I have here. So we're going to go edit, blank, select only curves, say all. Create a new curve. And I'm just going to add the OD. Let's go with, so we can rough all this material in through here. So we'll go with turn. Select our turning tool. Change our coordinate system to the subspindle. Then we'll do a finish profile. See what we have so far. And then we're going to rough all this material in through here, starting with our 3/8 hole. We'll use chain, start here, rough bore. Now I want to tell it that we have 3/8. We're going to start at a 3/8 diameter, so we'll go in manual. The inner diameter we'll say is 3/8. Now that drill, if I go back, let's see, I think I left the constant surface feed on, so let's turn that off and assign an RPM. And we'll do a finish profile. Tool is on the left side. We're going to take off the tip radius. Let's go to tool 6. Put it all together. Okay, the back side of my tool cut into it. We do have crash detection, so let's take a look at that. Crash detection. Okay. And it shows you which operation it crashed. The depth tells it the size of the insert. So let's take another look at that. And we're good. That concludes our video.